It's my pleasure to participate in this conference and have this chance to participate in this experience. Allow me to speak in Arabic, if you like. Actually, we are thinking about present the case of the Bromine factory. Bromine factory is located in the Dead Sea, and we made a theoretical study that assumed that we have a leakage from some storage tank. As you can see here, the assumption is based on that we have the Bromine factory, and we have an assumption and a leakage or explosion, God forbidden. The hypothesis will focus on accident explosion or leak expected in the Bromine factory. And this combination of storage and leakage combined in mathematical models. Sorry, the screen is very slow. And after the applying Gaussian model, Gauss model for gas dispersion, we just download this data and put it based on the geographical information maps. Sorry. Yes. As you can see, this is an assumption that what kind of leakage or dispersion hazard. There are several types that can be assumed in leakage. It's a hemispheric, cloud, plume, cone, stream, pool, and irregular. And this is animation. You can see the figure. The assumption, this is the tank, and how the leakage will be assumed in this study. This you can see in this figure the software GIS application. People who are working with GIS, they are familiar with this kind of map. This is the exact location. It's downloaded from the Google map, and you can see here the Bromine factory inside the map. We will assume that we have three types of storage tank. One type is drum type. This is the conventional storage tank that are used in the Bromine factory. And the drum capacity, as you can see, small quantity, around 140 liters. We have another type of storage, Goslars. You can see the Goslars type, capacity 1,250 liters. And this is, as you can, sorry for this technical problem. Again, as you can see, we can have this model for Gauss model for dispersion. And based on this Gauss model, you can see different kind of distance from 30 meters up to 3,000 meters away from the Bromine factory. And based on the meteorological data, we can conclude that the wind direction in the Dead Sea for about 10 years, it's almost north to northwest and northeast direction. So we make our assumption. As you can see, this is the first assumption for the leakage of bromine from the factory. As you can see, it's spread. We have three zones: the hot zone and warm zone and cold zone. These zones based on the dangerous and the concentration of bromine if leakage happens. And you can see here the direction of the based on this north-northwest wind direction, and the speed was controlled according to the meteorological data from Jordan Department, Meteorological Jordan Department. As you can see, the direction of the bromine leakage is almost toward the sea. And this is another the assumption where leakage from Goslar tank, and the wind direction is north-northwest, as you can see. And we can see this is the hot zone, the highest concentration of bromine leaked from the storage tanks. And this is the warm, it's a little bit more or less concentrated. And the last one is low concentration of bromine, and you can see this direction of the wind is still north-northwest, and the type of tank we have is Goslar tank. And another example we take in consideration, the same Goslar tank with wind direction almost north, and you can see the three zones, hot, cold, and the dispersion of this bromine concentration from the factory. And this is another type of ISO tank with wind direction again north-northwest. This is another ISO tank with wind direction is north-based, and you can see the direction of bromine concentration dispersion in the area. And this is another tank with medium ISO tank, and another one is medium ISO tank. Wind direction is north-northwest, and this is the north. And you can see from these two pictures, you can compare the dispersion of gas, bromine. And also this is from a large tank, as we said before, about 8,000 liters of leakage of gas from the factory. And you can see how the dispersion is modeled according to gas. And we can come up to the conclusion based on this assumption. As we can see, we classified the dispersion into hot zone. The hot zone, as you can see, the bromine dispersion from the drum tank ranges from 124 to 0.6 ppm. And the bromine dispersion from Goslar tank range between 8 to 0.0061 ppm, which is low concentration. And the case 3, when we have a small ISO tank, the concentration is ranged from 1.4 to 0.019 ppm. And there are two cases dispersion from medium ISO tank ranging from 2 ppm up to 0.01 ppm. And you can see this amount of concentration based on the quantity of the bromine leakage based on the volume of the gas storage. And the fifth case, as we can see, the bromine dispersion from large ISO tank, it's between 2.3 up to 0.07 ppm concentration. And the warm zone and the cold zone, also we can see the concentration based on the volume and depend on the wind direction also and the quantity of the gas leaked. We come up to the conclusion the dispersion of the bromine depends on the wind speed and direction. After determining the wind's direction, it turns out how bromine disperse and identify the area that will be hit to. And this will be very helpful, God forbid, if any dispersion happen, according to the wind speed and wind direction and the speed of wind, which average has been calculated within 10 years. So we can make our emergency evacuation, and we can also tell the people where to relocate according to the dispersion. Meteorological department has provided us information in wind speed and direction for more than 10 years. From this information, we found the average wind direction has three principles: as high as possible toward northwest, north. Comes after that north direction. This is the most popular wind direction in the area. And at that, the north and west direction in this study, all zones direction are selected for study depending on these directions. Based on that, the dispersion of bromine has northwest, north, and northwest direction. All bromine concentration, fortunately, will be located toward the Dead Sea. It's not located in the residential area, and this is a good chance that the direction of the bromine, if leaked, will be toward the direction of the Dead Sea. When bromine discharge has north direction, this is the worst case. The bromine concentration has possibility toward the residential area, what we call Ghor al-Mazra'a. In this case, if the wind direction at that time in this way, we have to take precautions and emergency case directly to the people who are located in this. Thank you for listening, and it was my pleasure to be in your audience.